Next guest says if you want to trim the fat and balance the budget, the folks feeding most off the hog need to sacrifice first. And those are the unions. Missouri Senator Roy Blunt joining me now. Sir, what is your reaction to what you're seeing in Wisconsin?
Well, I don't know exactly how I was introduced there, but I'm not involved in this Wisconsin discussion at all. I don't know near as much about it as the governor does, but I do know that the states have to balance their budgets, and Wisconsin and a number of other states are soon going to be our answer to Greece and Ireland and Portugal if they don't get their budgets in balance. I think the federal government should have to balance its budget as well, and we need to get that process started. I hope it's part of the reforms that we're able to do this year when we really try to deal with spending in Washington, just like the states are now having to realize that they're going to have to deal with their spending problems as well.
Sir, what I think that viewers and people and taxpayers across the country and even the unions may not recognize is the fact that I think in something like 25 states, unions actually lobbied heavily for taxing increases and spending increases so their own compensation would be covered by taxpayers footing the bill. Do you feel that we're at a turning point in this country where regular private sector taxpayers are waking up and saying, wait a second, government sector unions are making, basically a lot of problems for regular taxpayers. They're getting good benefits, good wages, so they should be able to basically step up to the plate and start giving back too?
Well, I think taxpayers are blaming everybody in government for not solving this problem. And that includes government legislators, congressmen, senators, whether they're government workers or not. I do know, Liz, that the only place left in America that measures how much they care about something based on how much they spend on it instead of the results they get is the government. And the government has to start acting like everybody else in America. How do you produce a better product for less money? How do you use all of the tools available to us to really treat the taxpayers right? We're going to have to learn that in Washington, too. And the Washington problem is even bigger. People want to know, where are the private sector jobs? Why is the government spending so much money? And a lot of the pressure against private sector jobs is just that, the government spending way too much of the capacity of the economy to grow.
You know, so the issue here, what we're seeing again, and we're seeing protests, not just in Wisconsin, we've also seen protests happening in other states such as California. And the issue is this: can taxpayers, regular taxpayers, continue to see their property and state and local other taxes like sales taxes go up to foot the bill for benefits that are better than in the private sector, for wages that are better than in the private sector? I almost feel like we're at a different point in time right now in this country where we're at a true clash between the government workers, who for the first time, unionized workers in the government now are more than basically we've ever seen before. In 2009, they're at record levels. So what do you make of that, sir?
Well, when it hasn't been that many years ago when government retirement was better, government benefits were better, but government salaries were not as good. And that all sort of equaled out. But now we still have the good benefit package, apparently, that compares with better than what's happening in the private sector. And all the reports I've seen in the last several months, in the last couple of years, are that equal jobs, food service jobs and other jobs in the government, pay more than those same jobs in the private sector. When you combine that with the traditional more holidays and better benefits and better retirement, that doesn't make sense to taxpayers, and it shouldn't. So somehow we have to at least get the government jobs back in line with the private sector jobs. And more importantly, we've got to get government spending in line with what the economy can afford. You know, when the debt in Greece got to be 120% of the capacity of the country to produce goods and services, essentially the system finally imploded. That's going to happen here at the state and the federal level. If the state, traditionally the federal government spent about $1 out of $5 for all the years from World War II until 2008, and suddenly the federal government is spending $1 out of $4. That just won't work.
All right, Senator Roy Blunt, thank you so much for your time tonight, sir. We really appreciate it. So the Democrats in Wisconsin literally walking out rather than face the truth about the state's budget. But what's happening with the budget?